Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
Do you like big robots?
I love big robots, man.
Name one Gundam.
Alan.
I just want to see what would come out of your mouth.
I have no idea. Megatron. Predaking.
You want to hear some hot sounds I've recorded?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast where we discuss classic Japanese role-playing games, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. Welcome back to Season 5, where we're covering Xenosaga, Episode 1, To Chill with Mouser. My name is Chris. I'm joined today by Eric. Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, nice to see you again. What video game is Mouser from?
Ninja Turtles.
No, no.
There's not Mousers in those things?
There are, but there's another Mouser.
Fucking lied.
Mario 2.
Adventure Island.
We're also joined by the RealNet, a collective of patrons who are listening to us record live. Hello, RealNet, and thank you for your support. And thank you for watching us as we record live. You too can do this at patreon.com/retroam.
We're also joined by the Fake Net, our post-production AI companion, who is also the original inspiration for all the smiley faces you collect in Airzonk.
Initializing Fake Net.
My physical face smiles while my digital face frowns. Please don't tell me the dog is in the room again.
And once again, we are also joined by Chris's dog for this episode, who is causing mischief in between takes.
Shit.
Have we played the game in a while? How many episodes has it been since we played the game?
It's been a long time.
1.5?
We're going to start playing the game now?
No. I mean...
So we just got some information on Ziggy. He committed suicide. He wants to be dead, but he can't. If he completes this mission, they will end his life as he knows it. Cut to Pleroma again. It's a cutscene. Music. UTIC organization plays.
Actually, it's anxiety.
Two fully geared up soldiers in drink-colored clothing are guarding a prison cell. One has a gun. And the camera pans across the cell. We briefly see a small girl inside. But then the door opens with a cool space door sound effect. Margulis, gold cuffs swaying with his arm motion, steps in and greets the prisoner.
How are you feeling, 100 Series Realian?
Chris, the lack of respect. You know robots who wish they are human hate being reminded of being robots.
Yes. He also notices that the food texture on the plate polygon is uneaten.
That's right. Do Realians need to eat food?
Yeah.
Or do they just like consume PCBs?
PCBs?
You know, the computer chip boards?
Yes.
Okay. Music, insecurity begins to play, and Margulis tells the child girl prisoner that even Realians require nourishment.
Insecurity, anxiety, who can say?
As he loses his patience with her silence, he finishes with...
Are the Federation's 100 Series Realians so ill-mannered that they don't even reply to simple questions?
However, Eric, she does not like that name.
No.
I don't like that name.
This little girl, by the way, shoulder-length pink magenta hair, 2 orange anime buttons, huge golden pupils, and a neat little outfit. Naturally, Margulis hits her even harder.
Well, my goodness, pardon me. And what would you like to be called, Miss 100 Series Realian?
The little girl responds.
I don't like strangers to be calling me by my name. Where are you planning on taking me?
Chris, this is Momo. She has a last name, but I don't think we're supposed to know it just yet. Momo is voiced by Sherry Lynn in the first game, with Christina Perselli taking over for episodes 2 and 3. You may have also heard Sherry in Fievel Goes West, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and fucking Pro Stars. She was Tick and Keese in Baiten Kato's Origins, Kiwi in Pilot Wing 64, Lulu in Star Ocean First Departure, and young Mana in Drakengard and its sequel. You got anything else?
Is she the same one that does a bunch of My Little Ponies?
I don't know.
Or is it the second voice actor? Who knows?
Anyway, Margulis tells her that, I'm afraid, is not for you to know. And it only shows Margulis from his neck down as if a child were looking up at him, so we get to see some Movo Pov shots. Momo accepts this and wonders what will happen to her. Marg tells her she's going to help them out. He tells Momo his entire philosophy with this shit.
Yeah, he's giving us more Android Discourse.
Machines like you exist to be used. What happens to you after that, God only knows. Assuming you people even have a God, that is.
Why would
Is God the machine, Chris? Do machines have a God? Is there a machine God? Have you seen The Matrix?
The Matrix is the God. No, the machine.
There is a God. Never mind. So I'm sorry I asked.
God is empty, just like me.
Thank you, Billy. Momo responds with, all I can really do is seek out and find the Gnosis. I can't help you with anything. I know the framing isn't correct, but the way she said that, the way she stood up is like excited. What if the Gnosis are Realian gods? What if the Gnosis are a response to man playing God by creating Realians? Some emerald weapon shit.
Also, it's like, when I hear Margulis say this, when he's injecting this additional Android Discourse into this video game, at this point in time, I'm like, dude, shut up. Virgil already did this, and he was way better at it.
Yeah, he was more unhinged. Well, would that mean like Virgil is chaotic evil, whereas Margulis is lawful evil?
Is the writing here for Margulis in the fact that there was a decision to make him come into this room and spit all this shit out at her? Is it bad? Is it stupid?
I just think the game is just quintupling down on our robots people.
Do we just blame Gundam?
I mean, you do. I don't have any context for a Gundam other than the half episode I saw in your living room like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Momo says she can't help Margulis with anything, but then he walks over to Momo, agrees with her, and points to his own head, saying, part of you is a little different. He then bends down to meet her at eye level and says,
but this part of you is a little different. We'd like to have a word with the man you have hidden inside of you. In any case, you'd best be keeping yourself alive as long as possible. He will be arriving soon.
And Chris, who is he? Because it's not Ziggy.
We got a he.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but...
mysterious he who wants Momo. Presumably, Margulis has Momo to give to him, capital H.
Yes.
To herself or to no one, Momo sits back down and says,
Mommy, I want to go home to the lab.
the robot yearns to return to the lab. It's all that she knows. Pleroma cutscene. We open up with a shot of Pleroma floating out in space. A small spacecraft labeled 06 on its hull zooms by. 46 hours later, the screen tells us as it docks, and I assume that means since Margulis talked to Momo or not since the ship approached, I don't know. Two figures in black step out of the ship, then the camera cuts to a lingering shot of the ship's door. It's weirdly distorted. As the ship dedocks and backs away, space-time appears to suffer another distortion, like Gnosis are about to bust through. But then it's revealed the distortion is actually some green-tinted Predator camo shit. And it's Ziggy as he robot leaps over the docking plank. He stands up as it fades to black. This looks sick as hell. My dude was a stowaway on this ship using Octo camo.
Yes. Did you happen to look at these cutscenes on YouTube after you played the game?
Yeah.
Did you notice that the Octo camo was all fucked up in the emulation that they were capturing?
Oh, it was? Really?
It was all like every limb was just a giant square.
That's funny. So it would look like Dune 1 with the... Do you ever see the David Lynch's Dune?
I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but I think I know what you're referring to.
Fucking fighting polygon team?
Yeah. It's just like a bunch of rectangles stitched together that you can tell they're moving around in like a very human manner, but it's definitely not the way the game looks in the real thing.
Now we're playing the game. Background noise, the hum of Pleroma. Is it different? I don't know, but I captured it. We're at the dock. Ziggy's still in camo. Two guys who got off this shit are also still here. Ziggy tells us, the player, about the mission. The objective is to rescue 100 Series Realian. Now, where is she being held captive? I don't want to cause a commotion until I find the Realian. It would be best to avoid unnecessary confrontation.
Don't get into battles right now.
Yeah, fucking use stealth. Instead, we get a 4-sentence paragraph.
Yeah, also, we can run around a bit and access a save point, but I think the most important thing is that we can just blow up some fucking things.
Yeah, with his little device.
Which is not what you should do on a sneaking mission, but also, every now and then I crave a little ludonarrative dissonance.
I was just going to say, because Ziggy's robot legs weigh about 5,000 pounds and also make a shitload of noise.
Yeah. Also in here, there's like a small red ship on the left of the dock, some jeeps, and some boxes in here.
I have questions about those jeeps. Do they run on fossil fuels?
I mean, can they?
Jeep technology has not come what's been 4,000 years. They look like Jeeps. It's still Jeep.
I mean, they could run them. They could be battery powered, right?
I don't know. The battery power. I mean, there was the Insight existed then.
I have a battery powered van in my garage.
Yeah, but it's 20 years after that was made.
Yeah, it's true.
Just saying, they're burning up ancient kelp up here.
Yeah. Anyway, we can find a scope and 2 ether upgrades. Also, when you're searching back behind some of the boxes, the camera will briefly change to an angle where you can see up into some windows above, and there's some soldiers walking around doing business up there.
Yeah, you can occasionally catch camera angles that will tell you about locations you may be able to visit a bit later.
Did you find the most important thing in this room, Eric?
What's that?
up top, there are a couple of Zaku-ass Zakus.
Oh.
A couple of...
What's a Zaku, Chris?
A Zaku is a generic... Well, not generic. I don't want to use that. But a mass-produced... robot mobile suit from Gundam. In this case, we can inspect them by pressing a button and read about them. It is a UTIC organization's multi-purpose eggs type Mercurio. It's going to be tough to take this on myself.
Which we'll have to do later, obviously.
I think we're going to find out shortly here. Like, literally moments from now. But I have a hunch that Monolith had some idea to come up with some meaningful stealth gameplay here.
Oh, and it didn't.
But couldn't fucking do it.
Yep. That's also what I read.
And so this sneaking mission doesn't last very long.
Like the art team modeled it, but they couldn't. I mean, there are some avoiding soldiers vision cone type shit later, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, and control your footsteps and stuff like that. Like the footstep thing, it's not good. Like there was definitely an attempt to turn this into a RPG that doesn't have very much RPG traversal
you get
stuff
some Metal
in
Gear
it.
Solid camera angles here.
Yeah, but I think mostly I won't say a failure, but it's mostly just a wash. It's like most of the time I'm just like, let this be an RPG. Let this be a dungeon.
I'm watching that like 40-part Double Fine, how they made Psychonauts 2 documentary, and it's giving me tremendous insight into the way these things are made.
Yeah.
And this to me, I'm not an expert or a game designer, but it reads like something they prototyped and got to a passable phase without actually designing anything around it.
Yeah, yeah.
Ziggy gets to a tunnel-like area that's lit by torches. That seems a little dramatic.
Well, I think that the design of this entire place is like there's an ancient sort of religious church-y area.
We'll find out.
Base built around it.
It's that old religious base,
yes,
right?
Yes. And so the torches, I guess, are remnants of that. I guess this asteroid has an atmosphere or something. I don't know.
The torches are also audible. Of course, I captured 13 minutes of that.
Torch crackly sounds are maybe some of the best sounds in the universe.
It's the closest we get to a campfire.
Yeah, but also I just like the sound of it.
Nice.
It's just the crackling is good.
Chris sets his Netflix to burning log around Christmas.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Ziggy places C4 charges at 2 locations. Ziggy then does some Solid Snake shit, posting his backside up against a wall on a series of shipping crates. We then get to see Ziggy Vision. It's tinted red, carries a bunch of overlaying green windows and data readouts, and seems to have some sonar. Ziggy spies a guard on the upper level, but then his suit starts to short out.
Damn it, a malfunction.
As it malfunctions, Ziggy stares into the middle distance and starts flashing back. Shit. There's some whirring. It's just Ziggy and Juli Mizrahi in that council chamber.
Yeah, the camera kind of pans in above, and it lets you know that all the other fucked up guys have exited the room.
It's just Ziggy. She says, so that 100 series Realian, it's like as they're lowering down, Ziggy's talking to Juli.
Yeah.
So that 100 series Realian is encoded with extensive amounts of research data, left behind by the founder of UTIC?
Juli says yes, and the data could affect the entire fate of mankind.
Jesus, is this what Margulis was referring to as the man inside?
I think so.
Okay.
Like the person, like, have you ever built your own robot and then injected secret data files based on your own thoughts and feelings inside the robot?
So the founder of the organization that Margulis works for has secret information stored in this robot that was not in their possession.
The only copy of his live journal is in her head.
Okay, that works better for, yeah.
Ziggy asks about the founder's involvement. Juli tells him some lore.
Lore.
The founder of UTIC was the same man who advocated the creation of that child, the 100 series observational unit, Joachim Mizrahi.
Great name. Fucking awesome name.
Mm-hmm.
A madman who lost his humanity by immersing himself in science.
Oh.
Okay, that's a lot right there. A madman who lost his humanity because he knows too much about science. He cannot believe he's an atheist.
Is he Krellian?
Great question. It's a wonderful question.
Okay.
Yes, you guessed correctly. He is my ex-husband. Do you want to know what it was like being married to a murderer?
Okay. So that's like you have one fucked up idea, then somebody else, like on draft 2, goes, what if we make him married to Juli?
And then Ziggurat has the best response.
Which is?
No.
He says, no.
I don't want to know that shit.
My note is it's very funny the way he says no.
Yeah.
No.
In any case, it's certain that the organization is frantically trying to get its hands on that data. I'm afraid we don't have much time to spare. So that org has to be UTIC, which means Joachim founded UTIC, which means Margulis is looking for the principles of its deceased founding member, who's also a murderer, married to Juli on the Council of Fucked Up Guys.
Okay, so that's like it's like when the Knights Templar are trying to find the secret teachings of Jesus Christ so they can be better Jesus Christ Knights.
Yes, but Jesus went on to found a rival cult and killed a bunch of people. And
is married to the president.
Yes.
Okay.
That's if you want to make a Christ analogy work, I think we just got it.
Okay.
Ziggy then shuffles off, but turns around in real time to say one more thing.
My instructions are to take the Realian to the Milshan star system. Yet she's registered with the government as your daughter. Why is it that you don't want me to bring her back here?
Juli answers,
We're currently carrying out an operation based in the area between Milsha and Mictum. An operation vital to the human race. That's why I'm sending her there. That's all I can say right now. Besides, this way, I won't have to see her either.
So Juli cannot look upon the daughter that probably, I'm guessing here, I don't remember, was made in the image of her real daughter who I suppose her husband murdered. In a science experiment. I don't know that. I have no idea. I'm just guessing that, like, she also harbors a desire to treat Momo like a real child, but she can't bring herself to do it because it exposes a weakness.
Or also it exposes a weakness in the fact that Momo has this important information, and she needs that information to go wherever the fuck that he's supposed to take it to.
So it's a priority-based rescue regardless of love. We're here for science, not for love. You don't have to believe to do the mission.
Yes.
And I'm too much of a believer to do it myself.
Yes.
We're back to playing the game.
Yeah. We're running around with Ziggurat 8 in his large feet.
This is fairly Gothic architecture, blocking up window holes with walls, and I call it Gothic because it has crosses and shit made out of stone, and I have no idea what I'm talking about, so it seems Gothic.
Yes, probably. Yeah, there are lots of...
Masonry trends.
Yes, there you go. Trends in masonry in space. As you move from left to right, the camera swings around a bit to make almost like a top-down Metal Gear Solid 1 view, where you're looking straight down, trying to avoid soldiers and whatnot.
But they don't have vision cones, and there's no clear delineation from where they can see me and where they can't.
You can hold one of the shoulder buttons down to
mute your footsteps.
Soften your footsteps. Yeah. But that's about it. Also, I think a really cool visual effect that occurs here is that as the camera kind of swings up, you can see the light fixtures hanging down above, and it's artificial, but the way the light source is there, I think...
It looks like a real light.
I think it hits pretty good,
Like someone actually took... The art department, I think, as is the case with the second game, had more time than the design department to make the game.
I'm bad at sneaking, by the way, and I just had to end up fighting so many guys.
I got in one fight.
Really? Okay.
But I mean, it's probably better to fight to boost your levels and get points and shit.
Yeah. My first observation about Ziggurat's fighting is that he's got a giant goddamn switchblade attached to his arm.
Yes. It unfurls. And
when he does his like jet boost kicks, he launches his feet with rocket-propelled whatevers.
I mean, for a fighting force, Cyborg has got some excellent physical attacks.
Absolutely. They did a good job with making him a little bit more varied than what we've seen so far.
Did you ascend to that balcony so you could scope out the thing below, or did you just go for it?
Oh, yeah.
Enemies. Do you want to talk about the enemies? Just UTIC soldiers?
Yeah, just generic guys, helmets.
Fucking throw mustard bombs?
Yeah.
Room 2, I blow up a wall to the north. The hidden stairs go behind the wall, and I find a chest with Snake Hunter in it. Did you get Snake Hunter?
I got Snake Hunter. Also, I revealed segment address number 4.
It's back there, too. With Snake Hunter, I go to the skill menu and use some points to extract poison from it, and now Ziggy is resistant to poison.
Cool. You can do... Oh, you extract points from it.
When you get fucked up shit, you can extract skills from it with some of the fucked up points you get, and if you have enough points, you can add abilities that you extract from that shit. This is needlessly complex as hell.
Wow, look at you explaining mechanics to me.
That's right, man. Yeah. Thanks.
When I went down to the middle between those big torches, you can blow something up and find a decoder 11. And when I was doing this, a soldier heard me, and he was chasing after me and got stuck on the fucking treasure chest and couldn't get around it.
So the pathing is also very good here.
Yes.
Also, yeah, there's no vision. Like, my next note is I walk right in front of these guys, and they don't see me. What the fuck is going on?
I think it's all sound-based.
Once Ziggy reaches the balcony, music, I don't know, but I captured it, begins to play.
I got Ormus.
Okay.
It's the music according to the YouTube video.
That's interesting.
Ormus is the name of the religion.
Yeah,
that we're
the organization.
Yeah.
The balcony overlooks some kind of chapel. There are pews below, and instead of a Jesus in the center, there's some kind of 4-pointed cross that I think is also on Margulis' clothing. So the religious thing isn't just, we're occupying this, I still believe this shit as UTIC minister.
I don't know, because there's because we'll find out later, the entrance to this church is off to the side in the sewers. So they built the sewers just over the church.
You ever built a secret church in the sewers? You ever seen Ninja Turtles 2?
Oh, fucking hell, you're right. Also, about the music, the Ormus music, it sounds like it's one step away from Nier music.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. And also, standing up on a balcony, looking down upon a significant symbol, so to speak, is all kinds of whiffs are hitting me here. Because remember standing
Mother
in the
Sophia.
Nissan Cathedral looking at the one-winged angels?
With it.
What we're seeing now is a cross between like a clock and a crucifix.
Hell yeah.
It's upside down though, and some sort of
Satan.
in some sort of tree. But we'll actually get a little bit more information to unpack that metaphor a little bit later once we go into church. But for now, let's take a whiff. 13.
Can we talk about churches for a second?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that we talked about church. I mean, we talked about reference to it, but like, I used to go to church once a week for, 8 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we had to as part of school. And now I go into church once every 5 years, and I feel weird when I go in one.
I think aesthetics can do that to you.
Yeah, it brings back... It's not had anything to do with like atheism or anything. Like, I don't care about that. It's just like all the memories of the time that I spent in there goes... And it works in video games too, where I'm like, oh shit, I'm in a church.
Have you been to like any sort of like old cathedrals and places?
I mean, there's some downtown that are pretty... That have dead saints proudly on display in them.
Yeah. And
Cathedral of the Assumption and St. James. You ever go to St. James and look up? There's a fucking eye in the ceiling.
Oh, fuck.
It's real weird.
I went into one of the cathedrals at Notre Dame, like the university, when I was there for a football game or something. I think people confuse that sort of like spiritual or religious feeling with just a intense observation or injection of aesthetics.
Yeah, like that too. That's what I'm doing while looking at this.
Being impacted by art. That's what's literally happening, in my opinion.
You're having an emotional response because it is genuine art.
Me, the atheist, thinks that.
It's funny when I say old churches in the United States, I mean like 200 years up to 200.
Yeah.
When I was in Germany, it's like 1,000-year-old church I went to. All right. So there's a new hum in the background now. It leads to a smaller, smoother room where an armed eggs is wandering around a very small pit. Ziggy suggests not fighting it and instead creating a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Cue to a nearby crane, which Ziggy can push a button to run into shit, blowing boxes and shit up. One of those reveals a treasure chest 2 floors below. But I skip it, because now we go to a cutscene with Momo in the cell. Momo is still alone. A guard's voice outside the cell thinks it's odd that B-Block has not checked in yet. He goes to check and leaves 2 guards behind. Momo walks over to the barred window, does a calf raise, and asks if something is wrong out there. The guard tells her to
shut up and sit down.
The camera cuts to Ziggy, solid snaking his craned head around the side of the wall. He zooms out for a mandatory battle against 2 UTIC soldiers. After that, we're back to a cutscene as the guards slump against the wall. Momo sees Ziggy through the bars, and she asks who he is. I, for one, am curious how the cyborg half-man will treat the Realian replica girl. So we've got cyborg half-man rescuing a robot who hates being known as a robot and wants to be a girl. Do you enjoy the juxtaposition of attempts at life?
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to think about the relationship, because what is being thrust upon us is like the found daughter storyline thing, where like hardened old man finds young girl.
But it's hardened old half-man finding non-daughter.
That's why the twist works, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it definitely works no matter what in 2003, but like going back and playing it now, it's like we've seen that play out in The Last of Us is the most famous example of that.
Dad games.
Yeah, dad games, thank you. So, yeah, congratulations on Xenosaga being the first dad game.
That's the episode title. The first dad game. Ziggy sticks to the facts. The contract subcommittee sent me to rescue you. An elated Momo replies,
The contact subcommittee? Mommy?
Mommy. Ziggy says he's going to punch through the door. Momo tells him not to, as that could sound an alarm. We get our next mission as Momo tells Ziggy a master key should be held somewhere in this block, and he's got to find it. She'll also tell Ziggy that soldiers come from the monitoring room, so it's probably around there. My guess is it's on the soldier who just left, Chris. We're going to get it off him. Now we're playing. The music we heard for 20 seconds has been replaced by the idle hum. I inspect both men I have killed. Neither have a keycard. So I head back out there, out into the shit, and fight a new enemy, a crab robot affectionately named Cyber Crab.
Yes. Along the way, we get those like yellow zappy canisters. You can zap them and change the effect of battle or something.
Yeah, you can paralyze. It usually removes a skill or a weakness of some sort. I kite the soldier down here around a rock, and he gives up.
When you're kind of navigating through those rocks, you can inspect the one in the middle. And it says, there is a tombstone. It seems to be a relic from when this base was a shrine.
Cool idea for a villain's base.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, especially, I mean, it's kind of on the nose knowing, like, what inspires this game and whatnot. Yeah. But I do like it.
I do want more villain conspiracies trying to claim ancient Lost Jerusalem / Earth artifacts.
Yeah. And before we get too much more deep in the ship, we didn't really discuss the... Did I say ship? I meant shit. Excuse me.
Yeah, he's in the shit.
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 Before we get too much more deeper in the shitter, this place is called the Pleroma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that term?
Hell no.
Yeah, me neither, except for I've got some information written down here.
Is this from the UTIC or the UMN, or are you just looking up the Google?
It's not in the UMN, which I thought was strange.
Okay, what does Pleroma mean, Chris?
But I've got a few different interpretations of it. The first one from Eric, Greek philosophy. Have you heard of that?
No.
This is a quote I got from Wikipedia, which I think is instructive at least. The chief associations of Pleroma in their systems are with Greek philosophy, and the main thought is that of a state of completeness in contrast to deficiency.
The fuck does that mean?
Or of fullness of real existence in contrast to empty void and unreality of mere phenomenon.
A fullness of real existence?
Yes.
Does that mean I'm satisfied after my meal rather than hating myself?
I think an easier way to think about that is it's the opposite of an empty void, right? Like wholeness.
Love.
No.
Love is wholeness.
Maybe that's an example, yeah. Also, we can talk about Pleroma, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. I don't know fucking know.
Pleurisy.
We do podcasts. I'm sorry. This is from Gnostic lore. Also, I think I got this from Wikipedia. It was cited. Whatever. Pleroma refers to a divine light that exists above non-spatial, the physical realm, occupied by spiritual beings of self emanating from the Pleroma, called the Aeons or the Archeons. Okay.
Are we gonna get Una in here?
Yes. We talked about the Gnostic Aeons in the Xenogears podcast like 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And we talked about like the Christ Aeon, the Sophia Aeon, the two one-winged angels making each other whole. So I think there's some sort of...
We got to help each other.
Thematic stuff going here. And of course, the final entry here we have from our friend Carl Jung.
Okay, of course, right.
Pleroma is a state of both nothingness and fullness where both thinking and being cease, since the eternal and infinite possess no qualities. In it no being is, for he then would be distinct from the Pleroma and would possess qualities which would distinguish him as something distinct from the Pleroma.
Or whatever opium... I'm assuming he was an opium addict because all people were.
Yeah.
Like, does that make you think this shit? Do you have a source for opium?
I don't want to do
Is there an opium den?
I don't want to do opium.
I want to understand what the fuck this means, Chris, and that's the only way.
I don't think that we'll ever understand what this means, but we can try to figure out what it means in the context of playing Xenosaga. And I think really the big takeaway here is like there is an acknowledgement here in the naming of this that there is a spiritual and or non-physical realm, which I think we've already seen play out with the Gnosis, right? We've scienced our way into that.
That's a good way to tie into that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, and of course we've got the concept of completeness or wholeness, which we saw as like a big thematic underpinning of Xenogears.
A rich tapestry.
A rich tapestry of thematics. I mean, now we know what that means, but I don't understand why this thing is called that. But we know it was like a pilgrimage site.
Yeah.
From some sort of religious organization, but I don't think we're going to find out more about that.
And now it's a place with crates that have money, medicine, and cyber crabs.
Yes.
After all that, I make it to the monitoring room. There's a white-paneled spinning robot machine in here. It's got a blue eye at its core.
Yeah, fucked up-looking Imperial probe droid.
8 CCTV monitors are in the north wall, 3 desktops. Also a command post with a railing in the center. Kind of looks like a treadmill. Intruder detected, commencing attack. And that thing we were just talking about is the Gardas M1.
Yeah. It deploys these little laser eye things.
Barbell floating assault units.
Yeah, when you hit it, it boosts. So I think it's like, don't hit me. I'm going to boost. So you shouldn't hit me.
I beat the fuck out of this thing.
What I think I'm supposed to do is build up my death blows on the little guys and then unload Zig's giant zapper on the whole group. Also, I learned that one of his... Are they called death blows? Can I call them death blows?
You can call it whatever you want, yeah.
One of his death blows is called Lightning Fist, where he charges up a bunch of lightning and then...
The God Hand?
Pounds the ground. The Lightning Fist whistles like Chidori. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Let's talk about what the word Chidori means.
I don't know what it means. It's a Japanese word. It's one of Sasuke's moves from Naruto. And when he powers up lightning, it has that lightning whistle sound. And so does Ziggurat 8 when he punches the floor.
Folks, there's only so many sound libraries out there.
That's true. Does all lightning whistle?
Does Kazuya whistle when he does the electric wind god fist?
Probably.
Xenosaga.
Never played with Kazuya with headphones on before, so can't tell you.
There's a whistle buried in the mix. I get the key from the treasure chest on the right and peace out. On the way back, the guys in the basement respawn, but the guards at the cell do not. True death is inflicted upon guards, Chris.
Yeah.
I open Momo's door and it fades to black. Cut scene. Ziggy approaches Momo. He squats to meet her at eye level, which Margulis did not do. And I think that's cute, and it shows a touch of humanity on the side of Mr. Ziggurat. But then Ziggy reaches toward the back of his head and pushes some kind of button. We then see Ziggy vision. And that gesture had nothing to do with humanity. Ziggy just needed a Momo's face head inside of his viewfinder. Let me just confirm, you are the 100 series observational unit prototype, correct? Momo again tells Ziggy she does not like that name. Unlike Margulis, Ziggy asks,
Do you have another one?
but then Ziggy stares backwards, his cybernetically enhanced ears picking up on something. The guard soldier he killed comes back to life enough to trip an alarm. Ziggy tells Momo they'll talk later. They have to get the fuck out of here first. But then it happens, Chris. We learn her name.
Momo! Daddy calls me Momo. And then he called me Momo.
All right. Let's go, Momo.
Okay.
Ziggy calls her by her name and tells her it's time to go, and she willingly accepts. So Ziggy, the hero human, Margulis, the evil villain.
Yes, I will call you by your real name. You are now my found daughter. Let's go, lone wolf and cub.
Pleroma playable. Captured some alarm noises, but we're not going to play them the entire time because it's annoying.
Momo has a bunch of shit to say in video game format. Can I read it?
Yes.
I fucking love this shit. If we get in a fight, I will support you from the rear row. I don't want to get in your way up front. Plus, if I am directly behind you, I can prevent the enemy from pushing you to the back row with certain attacks like back toss. I love
the back toss.
I love the back toss. I love having conversations about back toss right after I meet somebody.
Hell yeah.
Ziggurat 8 says affirmative, but if I guard against attacks like back toss, I can prevent that from happening. Don't concern yourself with me. Concentrate on yourself. We must hurry. Let's go. Now let's back toss our ways out of here.
Yeah, I'm going to text my wife and ask for a back toss, Chris. What do you think that's going to lead to? Nothing.
Back tossing.
I get a speed sim out of a left cell, then use a save point in the right cell. I go to formation and put Momo behind Ziggy as suggested by Momo. I head out and fight green eggs in ham.
Yeah. I ran out back to the cathedral area.
Okay.
But it was blocked off by a bunch of UTIC soldiers and a Mercurio. They don't notice us, but they say that they are looking for an enhanced cyborg and a child Realian.
So you haven't gotten into a fight with Ziggy and Momo yet?
Not yet. At that point, I
about
turned around and went the other way and got into a fight.
Okay, can we talk about the Mercurio?
Yeah, can you beat that thing?
Yeah, dude.
You can
Here's
beat
what
it?
you do. You use Bodyguard as Ziggy, which boosts his shit when Momo's behind him. Because I put Momo behind me, use Bodyguard. Now Ziggy is super buffed.
Oh.
And I beat that shit in hard. I get Decoder 4 after I kill it.
Oh, shit. I didn't
Go back
do
in the
this.
Encephalon, dude. Get that Decoder 4. Also, Momo, one of the things that I retained from this game was Mystic Powers Grant Me a Miracle.
Mystic Power, grant me a miracle. Yes,
Mystic powers. Grant me a miracle.
That I heard that and I was like, yes, very
Yes.
good.
That is where it came rushing back to me that Momo is basically occupying the
Mage.
magical girl.
Did you even have like a fairy wand too?
Yeah. Like
Good.
they just made them be magical girls. It's like a fucking worship Sailor Moon.
Fuck it. Cutscene. Ziggy crouches beneath a window right as the guards discover Momo is missing. This is not Last of Us 2 as they do not comment on the dead buddies by the door.
Yeah.
Momo asks Ziggy if he's a military Realian. Ziggy calls himself an ex-human, which seems to confuse Momo. Ziggy offers clarification.
A cyborg. An ancient relic. I registered as an organ donor without giving it much thought, and they resurrected me after my death.
Ziggy looks at his mechanical arm as he says this. But Momo knows what he's talking about. The infamous
That infamous Life Recycling Act, right?
Yeah.
Life Recycling Act.
Oh, man. Are you saying it all slow and ominous like that so I can look it up in the dictionary, the glossary?
Well, I was hoping you would fill it in. And I'm going to dub over anyway, so no one's going to hear this.
Oh, okay.
Chris, look up the Life Recycling Act in the dictionary.
Introduced as a bill in TC 4590, it passed with unusual speed and was voted into law in the following year in 4591. In the age when cyborg technology was at its peak, human resources were dwindling, and this law was intended for effective utilization of these resources.
Got to get the birth rate up.
Got to get the fellows out of there. What? However, with time, the interpretation of the law expanded to condone human cloning, genetic and neural engineering, and other procedures formerly considered to be off limits. Various corporate interests are suspected to be behind this development. This law remained in effect for 160 years until it was revoked in TC 4754, which I guess was in the past from where we are now.
Well, that's what Ziggy references. The Species Preservation Act came about thanks to that mess the old law caused.
Yeah. Species Preservation Act, Eric. A law enacted in order to revive the human race, which had degenerated due to the harmful effects of the Life Recycling Act. The purpose behind this legislation was to preserve and propagate a pure breed of humans that was untouched by genetic engineering, cloning, or organ enhancements, kind of like eugenics, I guess. It also...
Was that an editorial?
Yes, that was editorial, sorry. It also strove to restore the original genetic code that had been altered by the Life Recycling Act. Gotta make pure humans.
No more fake people.
Due to the fact that enforcement is left to the discretion of each autonomous state. There is a pointed lack of standardization and effectiveness across the multitude of jurisdictions. That last part is fucking awesome. Like, we've got this thing to make sure that humans are humans, but no one's fucking doing it right.
And like, I think I was trying to imagine why the Life Recycling Act had to be made, because it wasn't due to cyborgs being used for military things, because that's cool for people in power. It had to be like a senator's like dead grandpa delivered him a robot pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like showed up at his front door and delivered him fucking goddamn. My wife's mother passed away in a fake. She got a bot Instagram with her mom's picture and name friending her the other day. Like shit like that already happens.
I was going to say, like, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say, do you remember when, before smoking bans were ubiquitous, when smoking bans were starting to first roll out in different places, like you could go to a different town and the smoking situation inside bars, inside restaurants, inside wherever would be different.
Yeah.
Like, 20 minutes to the east.
I mean, in Georgia, you can still smoke indoors.
Can you really?
When I was there at a gas station 2 years ago. Yes.
Oh, okay. And so when you roll that out to like the Species Preservation Act, where like what's a pure human is left to the local municipality.
Oh no.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. It's really good. It'll come down in federal law.
Yeah.
Imagine our Life Recycling Act necessity spin-off podcast for fucked up robot jobs that could haunt your life. Momo again asks Ziggy for his name. He tells her it's Ziggurat 8, and then Ziggy gets his proper improper name.
I know. How about I call you Ziggy instead? Z-I-G-G-Y. It's short for Ziggurat.
Z-I-G-G-Y. It's short for Ziggurat 8. Then we go to a flashback.
Yeah, this seems to pierce his psyche when she says this, right?
Yeah. Cuts to Ziggy now with a look of sheer horror on his face. He flashes back to sometime in the past.
It's CRT memories.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely like a videotape, like 480.
Yeah, there's like scan lines and everything.
It looks like it's around sunset in a future park. A young boy with blue hair and yellow knee pads is laughing and playing with a dog.
He's got Mega Man boots, don't forget.
Ziggy, or whatever he was named back then. Do we want to say Jan Sauer? Is that his, I know it's not a spoiler, is it?
Oh.
That was his human name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You said it earlier.
I know, I was reading it, and it's all now coming full circle. I thought it was Jan Sauer was some fucking guy.
Some guy?
Yeah.
Oh man, that'll be fun to listen to. It appears to be Ziggy appears to be filming this event with a home camcorder. The dog apparently was a surprise gift from his father for his birthday. Shit, apparently it's a robo-dog.
I wanted to get you a real one if I could, but I just couldn't get one.
Dad's trying his best, and like, Ziggy's lacking confidence as a father here. Either he's drunk, like he's like, yeah, I tried to get one. Like, is Ziggy recently a single dad?
It's possible.
The boy with golden eyes, though, doesn't care. He tells his father,
"Oh no, it's great, Dad. He's so cute. Hey, Dad, what's his name? Did you give him one yet?"
Ziggy tells him it's Nexus 6.
Yes. Didn't we learn that Nexus 6 was the name of something?
You told me that earlier, and I was going to say, Chris, what was Nexus 6? FakeNet, what was Nexus 6?
Initializing FakeNet. The Nexus 6 was an Android phablet made by Nokia, originally sold in 2015. The Nexus 6 were also a series of replicants developed by Eldon Terrell and his genetic design team to be more human than all previous Nexus models in the movie Blade Runner.
The line between living creature and robot is blurred once again as the boy says, that's just his model number, isn't it? That makes him sound like a robot. It's a fucking dad thing, though, to be like, shit, man, I don't know. It's called a fucking Hasbro Transformer. Did I get you the right one or not?
Yeah.
The child, a bastion of creativity like all children, offers to call the dog Nex instead of Nexus.
How about Nex? It's short for Nexus 6. What do you think? Huh, Dad?
Ziggy, as he fumbles his words here and there like your average all-time drunk but curious and engaged father, tells his kid,
"Yeah, that's a great name."
The kid and the dog run off and play, and Ziggy flashes back to life, back to reality. Momo tries to get a read on this wreck of a man, this machine man that just suffered 80 points of psychic damage.
Sounds about right.
Do you think it sounds like a puppy's name, she asks. And that's after he thought about that shit.
Was Momo able to access Ziggy's memories when he was doing it?
I think so, man. I think there's like some NFC near-field communication between robots, maybe where they can accidentally reach it. Like it's like a byproduct of their neural fucking link.
It's like how they can also, you can pay with their phone at the gas station.
That's right. I want to pay with my Realian. Ziggy becomes a hard ass again. He tells Momo no and to call him whatever she wants.
Call me whatever you want.
And elated Momo tells him, okay, Ziggy, it is. You sound a lot more human now. Ziggy, yeah, whatever's that. Who gives a shit? They're gone now. Let's get the fuck out of here. Now we're playing.
Yeah. The soldiers have passed by, and we can now access the terminal, which opens the door at the end of the hallway, which was previously locked if we try to go too far south.
Yeah, push that red button. The keypad turns red to blue, and I exit the room down a ladder hatch, and it's time for another cutscene. Do you like playing the game for up to 13 seconds, Chris? Was that necessary?
It seemed okay. It seemed fine.
Do you think they had like a days without an accident sign in the office, and it's like, no, that's 30 minutes for that cutscene. We need another.
I actually think most of it's probably an accident. Like they had the cutscenes, and then they had to build the game
around it.
Build the game around it, and there are certain situations in which they would just couldn't get anything else.
We need him to travel, and that's not rigged out. Make him do it.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a sneaking mission, and now we're just
it's a watching mission.
Sauntering. We're
in a security room. A masked soldier tells this is a cutscene that non-related to what we're doing. A masked soldier tells his commander that the intruder is after the 100 series. Music, Margulis plays.
Initializing fakehead. Nope. UTIC organization plays.
And the camera cuts over to Margulis with Pellegrini at his side. But Margulis takes it in stride, assuming it's one of the government's dogs. A guard says the intruder disappeared from their sensors near D-Block.
D-Block?
D-Block.
Should I press the button?
That counts, dude. D-Block is very important.
Okay. 14.
All kinds of prison fiction. There's multiple blocks, but D-Block specifically is very important if you played Xenogears.
Yes.
Margulis is then framed in front of a giant purple holographic computer screen. The whole aesthetic of this room, even the greenish walls, makes his choice in attire suspect.
It's true. And I don't know if we pointed this out, but like the entire color scheme of this place is much darker and more sinister than...
Oh yeah, it's a villain lair.
Places what we've seen before.
It's not well lit at all. It's like, it's a fucking hideout.
I wouldn't even say it's necessarily a villain lair. It's just more military looking.
Yeah, but there's like design and intention, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Framed in the center of the screen, Margulis orders them fenced in from all sides, fade to black. Back with Ziggy, the alarm blares. A Gardas M1 drifts down the hallway before opening up a ventilation shaft and tossing its sentries down the chute. Now we're playing. We're moving through a series of dull hallways, albeit these have been christened with some weird poop-colored sludge.
Yeah.
It appears to be bleeding out of the floors.
We're in the sewers, so we're running...
Time to sewer, 4 hours?
I don't fucking know, dude. I'm running from the balls through the sludge, which makes me run slow so the balls can chase me.
You need to avoid the sewage, the shit.
When I get
poop juice.
When I get cornered by the balls, they bring their crabs friends along with them. So
ballsandcrabs.com.
Lots of it. During this excursion, also, we can stumble across a side door to the church area, which we talked about before, right?
Yes.
Which is weird to have the sewers run across the entrance of the church, but I guess you got to do what you got to do when you want to build a secret base on the Jesus asteroid, right?
I don't think I did this, so tell me about the church. Was there anything in there?
Yeah, you go up to the church. Inside, there's a small ceremonial table that we saw before, but perhaps you can now notice a chalice on the table. Also, a box of Ether Upgrade Z in here.
Does the chalice have the blood of Christ?
Or Mrs. Plain, by the way.
Okay.
It does have the blood of Christ, I think.
Is there a saint's bone in the altar?
Oh, God, I'm sure there is. But most importantly, I think, in here is the emblem on the wall in which we can inspect it and get some information or some commentary from Ziggy here. An upside-down cross with an elm tree, a solemn and powerful emblem.
Isn't the elm significant for something?
Hold that thought. I did some research. Come to think of it, this place is supposedly an old cathedral of ancient religion. This asteroid was once the site of pilgrimages, but now that it has been abandoned, it's the perfect hiding place for the UTIC organization. And I did wonder the same thing that you did about the elm tree, and I just, like an astute researcher, I typed in elm tree symbolism into the Google.
Freddy Krueger come up?
And found a couple different things. In Celtic mythology, elm trees are representative of passage to the underworld.
Cool.
There's a lot written about the Knights Templar and elm trees. Most of it was gibberish that I could not understand, so I wrote, the Knights Templar were really into elm trees. There is at least one mention of elm tree in the Bible when it was talking about God's plentiful shit in the desert or something. I don't know.
So not a Garden of Eden feature with the apple and fig and...
No, there was I don't think there was any sort of creation myth stuff in there, but there were a lot of different entries for elm trees for different religions across the world. So it feels like it's a
popular tree.
Both a popular tree and a deliberate choice to include that in the game. Then I blew some blocks up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left the church area and I got to the slippery pipes section.
Yeah, slick pipes. Did you fall down those little holes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible to maintain your tactile sensation of foot travel through the pipes.
Yeah, it
sucks.
They
tried. They're trying.
There was another game recently where they were trying, and then they stopped. Oh, it was Suikoden 2. They tried, They
a game where they were trying and then they
Please
stopped.
see season 4, but like remember the Alex dungeon?
Yeah.
Behind the White Deer
The
Inn.
Sindar ruins.
Yeah, the Sindar ruins. They tried with that one, but then everything after that was just running through a forest in a cave.
No, go through
So-
this forest again, please.
Yeah. So
The camera pans, we get to another cutscene where the camera pans across an eggs hanger, 2 Mercurios and a red one. Ziggy and Momo are crouched behind a crate.
yeah, there are 2 Zaku-ass eggs units that are green, and there is a red commander unit. This is an obvious Gundam reference. Sorry, I don't make the rules.
It's fine. Ziggy explains eggs to Momo, then begins to doubt the veracity of the information he was given in the mission briefing. This is more than a simple resurgence of an armed group.
Yeah,
Ziggy doesn't know what to do, but he knows he can't stay here much longer.
This ain't no militia.
That's right. Momo somehow knows this room will be filled with over 100 soldiers in less than 8 minutes.
Yes.
The mystery is then solved as Ziggy realizes Momo is a recon Realian, and those things are handy. Ziggy eyeballs the eggs again, and he knows he can't rush them all. Not even a cyborg can take on 3 eggs units. I'd be shot to pieces. But Momo has an idea.
What if the eggs units couldn't use their sensors?
She can reduce their abilities somehow. She can use,
The Hilbert Effect.
which I thought was shit, Cosmos could use to kill Gnosis, but apparently it has a wide range of applications, Chris.
Yes, Momo actually gives us some more information on this.
Using inverted Hilbert wavelengths, I can create cross-interference that automatically shuts down the eggs DSS enemy sensor system. That should take out most of their external sensors.
Then when Ziggy asks what the shit is the Hilbert Effect, she has more science to give us. It says,
The Hilbert Effect?
It's an anti-gnosis materialization system. Normally, it's spread out over a wide range via an amplifier installed on board a spacecraft. But I can create the effect by myself in small areas like this.
So before this, I thought the Hilbert Effect was a Cosmos exclusive feature. Apparently
No.
technology has been shared.
I think the Cosmos exclusive feature is that Cosmos can deploy a whole ass.
She doesn't need the amplifier.
Yes, she is an amplifier, or she has an amplifier preloaded into her system.
Fucking shit.
I think also DSSS, short for Double Slot Sensory System, read as DSSS, a device developed by Vector Industries used to detect Gnosis in the imaginary realm. It consists of a double slit camera lens mounted on the sensory area of an eggs or other fighter craft. Finally, eggs are somewhat useful
For fighting Gnosis.
Yes. The military eggs have them mounted on their chest, while Vector models have them on the waist. The concept behind this device is similar to that of the double-slit light inference system often used in quantum physics.
Do you like that it says all this, or do you wish it just said Gnosis radar?
I like that it says it, but they are trying a little bit too hard to tell us the same thing over and over again.
I think so, yeah. But then again, maybe you won't look up all that stuff. You'll just look up some of it, so the repetition has to cover a bunch of bases.
Yeah. So Ziggy's like, I've heard enough of your science. Let's get on
she's
with
like,
it.
go ahead. She stands up, closes her eyes, and concentrates. The jewel on her collar and 2 jewels on her headband glow amber light. A purple aura surrounds Momo, then she radiates iridescent light.
She is praying to Sailor Moon.
Ziggy witnesses the Hilbert Effect in awe and reiterates that this is our secret weapon against the Gnosis. He said our. Ziggy thinks of himself as a human, maybe. Our secret weapon against the Gnosis.
Oh.
Also, was kind of wondering if the Hilbert Effect would fuck Ziggy's shit up too, since he's part robot or whatever.
All the robots in the physical realm, right? The real realm.
We don't know what's inside of it. Like, you don't know what secrets are locked inside of people in this game.
Yeah, that's true.
The Hilbert Effect that engulfs the enemy eggs in sick 90s Taco Bell colors, fuchsia, teal, and pink, and some of them short out. Back to Momo, it ends and she gasps for air and then appears to lose consciousness. It cuts to the enemy eggs. They know what's up.
What was that? What happened? Hilbert waves. Somebody's using the Hilbert Effect on us. My enemy sensor system has shut down. It's the 100 series. I can tell from the cross interference. Find her. She's close.
Ziggy, cradling Momo, asks her about cross interference and if she's suffering its effects. Momo, either out of breath or crying, replies,
I'm fine. I'm supposed to have a much higher capacity than them.
Ziggy tells her to rest. Momo tells Ziggy she's still in the game. Her nano repair function is operational.
Cool.
We then get into a scripted battle with 2 green Mercurios and a red Zolfo. I put the Mercurios to sleep with Momo, which makes Zolfo shoot their asses to wake them up.
Yeah, we've reached the dumb gimmick battle.
Yep.
Which I don't think... Are there enough tells to tell us to do this?
I mean, I
only
think
have
you
2
would naturally
choices,
be
right?
experimenting with the abilities as soon as you get the characters. I don't think it's extremely obvious, but I think it's a possible.
Yes, that trick is called sheep beam, right?
Yeah, fucking
And
sheep beam.
The fucking commander...
He's a little Vandercom on his own.
Yeah, he gets mad and blasts him in the head for sleeping, which is...
He executes his
fun.
soldiers.
After I beat this battle, I noticed something I've never noticed before, Eric, at the top of the battle win screen. There is a clear time. Did you notice that? I never noticed that before.
Panzer Dragon style.
I got 9/11.
Oh, okay. You got your own 9/11.
Ziggy did 9/11.
That's great.
Yeah.
Just with Laguna.
Yeah. It's patreon.com/retroim. Not going to tell you any more information about that.
Nope. Now we're playing on Pleroma. The background hum is audible. We're moving through a garage, a factory floor. 5 cars are parked at the north end behind a metal gate.
Jeeps and shit.
I enter the door to the right, walk up some smooth stairs, and find an empty command center. It's almost like a command bridge. Multiple workstations, all along with Pleroma's signature gray and crimson aesthetic. There's a save point in here, too. There's also 2 biospheres and 8 med kits in the crates, and they knew we're going to need this shit right now. The screens in here are animating with stuff. They really tried to make this room cool.
Oh, yeah. This is the same room that we saw Margulis doing all his shit
it's their command center. It's well, where the fuck is Margulis? You know what I mean? What are they? I exit the lab, I think, into one of the patrol rooms from earlier and immediately get into a battle with UTIC soldiers. I move to leave the way I came, and that pops out to a cutscene where, near the torch, Margulis awaits.
Yes.
As music, Margulis plays, he removes his red light sword, does some sick-ass twirls, then slams it into the ground to create fiery shockwaves.
He has got a spinning goddamn flaming swords. I am a sucker for flaming swords. I am less of a sucker now, but I used to be a big sucker for flaming swords.
Titan's sword could flame at a certain point, right?
He could element that shit however he wanted to, right?
Ziggy hugs Momo, shielding her from the flames with his strong body, which then, as if dissipating the energy it just absorbs, surges with electricity. So Ziggy can take the blow and then dissipate it out.
Curious if that was lightning powers, is lightning canceling out the flames, or is that some sort of shield? That
is this some elemental shit?
Yeah.
Margulis knows what's up.
It's that body of yours that got you this far. Still, what a worthless bunch. I can't believe they couldn't stop a lone cyborg.
Momo tells Ziggy that Margulis is that motherfucker. Ziggy says he knows. Is it that obvious, or does Ziggy and Margulis have a past?
That's a good question.
Jan Sauer, I'm thinking Jan Sauer, was he a UTIC dude back in the day? I have no idea.
At this point in time, Momo gets behind Ziggy like a small child afraid to talk to a stranger.
Right, because, her interactions with Margulis have been negative.
Yes, and also framing the father-found-daughter relationship in a very visual manner right here.
False dad and true dad, while dead dad is inside head. Margulis then fondles his sword and says,
"Looks like I'm about to get some decent exercise." And this baby's quite pleased as well.
While you've been sneaking around, Margulis, he's been personifying his blade.
Dude, he's been studying the blade so fucking hard. Look what he can do with this blade. We get into a boss fight with Margulis.
Yeah.
My dude does a super flaming sword stab attack that hurts.
Yeah.
He also does Spirit Rain Lightning Phoenix, which casts electrical bone wings over his shoulders to absorb electric attacks. Same shit with Spirit Rain Fire Dragon, and the same but for fire attacks. Also Rune Blade, where he draws a holographic rune and then stabs through it that pushes Ziggy to the back row.
Is he opening ether channels?
Circuits, please.
Circuits, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Circuits channels.
He can't push me back if Momo's behind me.
Yes. No, he can't back toss you.
He's bound to the grid. He also does Hell's Crest, which is a super combo Mega Slash group attack.
Wow.
Critically, my attacks keep missing, which is a feature of Xenogears that has appeared to come over to Xenosaga.
Yes, and sometimes they just do 30 damage, and it just doesn't do shit.
I don't get it.
I felt severely underleveled, so I was like, well, I'm just going to fucking die. So I moved Momo to the front row and just let him kill me. And I waited for my game over screen to appear, and the game just kept going.
You can lose this battle and still move on.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but that's funny though. Did you look it up afterward? Were you was that scripted to lose?
I remember grinding through this.
I beat it.
Yeah.
And I got a shitload of experience points for it, which is pretty hard to come by at this point.
Yes, I looked in the strategy guide. You can get a red ring, or you do get a red ring from beating it. And on rare occasions, you get a purple ring, which is an even better piece of loot that does something. I got shit to do, so I just let it roll.
That's right. Keep going.
Yeah.
Make the content.
After the fight, regardless of the outcome, Margulis taunts us.
What's wrong? He then approaches Ziggy and Momo, raises his sword, and asks, "Is that all you got?" And I'm like, oh man, boss fight round 2. Here we go.
Yep.
Ziggy then reveals behind his back, he's holding the remote for a Roku-based television. He presses it, then all the shit everywhere blows up. That's the C4 charges he was planning earlier?
Yes.
I would have done that, before the Margulis boss fight, but I guess you got to put a man in his place sometimes, or be put in your place in your case.
Yeah.
Ziggy and Momo run away amid the chaos and catastrophe. Alarms sound as they reach the escape ship, but something is very wrong. Ziggy pauses, then looks back at the chaos through his red-tinted Ziggy vision.
He's having this small tinge of robot premonition energy or something. He's noticing something is here that perhaps it shouldn't be here, maybe?
He was scanning the APCs, and I'm like, are there guys in those? We learn what this is later, but it is important that Ziggy detects some fucked up shit.
Yes.
With Momo seated and ready to go, the stun-locked Ziggy starts taking small arms fire, but then he snaps to life, ignores the bullets, and asks Momo if she's ready. The two of them slowly take off as UTIC soldiers rush in with more small guns. They vow to scramble pursuit fighters. 3 Dinky Doodle craft take off immediately, and they fly by the UTIC soldiers so fast that Xenosaga included a scene of him holding his head for acute hearing damage protection. Back in the hangar, a ticked-off Margulis walks through the flames and literally slices through the smoke. It's cool.
He's cutting smoke.
Thorough, isn't he, Margulis observes, all while other UTIC soldiers scream to put the fire out before it blows up the ammo. The soldiers then hose the ship down with future fire extinguishers. Someone had to design future fire extinguishers for this game.
Yes. They did it, yes.
Margulis slowly returns his sword to his scabbard as he watches the ships burn. Suddenly, his eyes dart to the right, and in the background, we see 2 figures emerge. It looks like Ziggy and Momo, but then they start getting closer, coming into focus.
Yes.
You're late.
One of these figures is a younger man with angular features and feathery white hair.
That tracks, yeah.
He's wrapped himself in his cloak, and it looks like folded angel wings. The other appears to be a Momo-style Realian, albeit with a nurse hat and white, teal, purple clothing. The man blinks a few times and does not speak. Fade to black. This is the man that was waiting to collect Momo, and I'm pretty sure.
This was he.
Yes, he, the capital him.
Yes.
That's him. Now we're in space with Ziggy and Stardust. My dude's eyes are closed. I think he's sleeping, but then he flashes back to the hangar where he was looking at all those military cars. It's the same shot. We still can't see what Ziggy saw or what he was looking for. And obviously now we know it was that guy. He flashes back to the present in his ship. From the back, Momo cranes her neck around and asks if something is wrong. Ziggy says it's nothing, then treats Momo like R2-D2.
Momo, find a trade column and short jump us out of here. I want to get back on our return path once we shake off the pursuit.
Okay.
So glad we know what columns are now.
Momo says okay, then cuts to space as their craft warp jumps or whatever and effortlessly evades their pursuers for now. Now, Chris, I want to have a campfire dinner scene, but not to the next episode.
I wish when Ziggy said everything's okay, he would have said everything is hunky-dory.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
If the localization team probably understood the Bowie reference, I think we would have gotten that.
But first, let's check in with the real net, right?
Initializing real net.
John Doe says this entire Pleroma prison sequence is very Star Wars. It kind of is.
Yeah. It's a little Death Star, get Ben Kenobi out of there.
Yeah. You face the bad guy on the way out, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Have a sword fight that could go multiple ways.
I had this written down in my notes and I forgot to say it, so I'm glad Cliff Racer brings this up. It's also pretty close to the Margie rescue sequence from Xenogears, right down to the fight with Ramses and Margulis.
Mirror stance.
Because you've got Margie in the back supporting, just like Momo, although we don't have a Miang equivalent. I don't think Pellegrini was there, right?
It's funny you bring up Ramses, if I can foreshadow something. There is a super Ramses alike later.
Cool. John Doe says also the Pleroma is so fucking odd to me, specifically because it has one room that clearly has non-diegetic music, but it's entirely silent otherwise. And like, why not just play music for the whole place? I fundamentally don't get what they were going for with this game's overworld musical direction.
I feel like that chapel was fought for inclusion. Like someone wanted that weird room in there to set the vibe, and it just happened to make like that artifact room is also another example of that.
Yeah, I think having that room in here, it doesn't feel as significant as like going to the Nissan Cathedral.
No, but it's something.
But it is something there, and the fact they pointed out the elm tree and stuff like that, I wonder if that means anything or if it's just something.
Xenosaga : I wonder if that means anything.
Yeah, I guess the answer is usually yes, right?
Someone meant something.
Lots of crab talk tonight.
We didn't mention it, but the cyber crabs have little crab eyes.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. Like, what is the functional utility for a crab? Like, were these like worker? Like, why is your patrol robot a crab?
It's true. 7-8 says the Pleroma is a Gnostic/Christian concept. The Pleroma is basically the fullness or completeness of divine power. That's way easier to understand than what that fucking shit we were reading. Good job. John Doe says, of course, the parliamentary reaction to the fucking robot zombie slave legislation is to pass mandatory eugenics law.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's the natural follow-up. It couldn't go any other way.
Cliff Racer says, incredibly stupid small detail is that Momo's DSSS system is her Evangelion hair clips. That's what they are. That's what they are. Mm-hmm.
It's where it's stored.
Cliff Racer also says that Margulis is more willing to humanize a sword than cyborgs/Realians, which is a good point. 7-8 says, I love this villain-ass villain, which I do love villain-ass villains.
He's good. He's all the way in.
Yes,
no compromises.
Yes. He is what he is in terms of a villain, at least from what I see now. There's not some sort of secret dark mystery behind him that I care about. I just want him to be him.
He's all in. Pellegrini is showing signs of lacking faith, but he is completely committed.
All right. Thank you, RealNet, for joining us on this fine evening of Retrograde Amnesia. We'll see you on the next episode. This episode is a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on August 6, 2023. You can find us on Twitter at RetroAmnesiaPod. Email us podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com or support us on patreon.patreon.com/retroam. Get early access 2 weeks early, ad-free. Bonus episodes, miniseries, and all the other dumb shit we decided to put on there.
It's not dumb shit. I try hard. So do you.
Well, we do try hard, but it's still dumb.
Okay, yeah.
Like trivia. We have 3 or 4 trivia episodes. I got a notification the other day that paid for that trivia maker thing that I did.
Oh, right.
For 1 year, it was like $12 for a year, and it auto renewed. So we have to do at least one trivia episode this year.
I'll start the brainwaves on that
in this next calendar year. I mean, thanks, Mark
Shepard,
for the intro music.
You're welcome, Chris.
And thank you to World Sin for the podcast artwork. We are out of here, Eric. Until next time.
Yeah, we're gonna travel through a space column, man,
and have some curry. Mystic power, grant me a miracle. Okay, go back to sleep, all that too. Safe.
Margulis looks over the out-of-focus food tray and sitting on the bench and asks if you already said all that shit.
The shit is by the way, an Iuden Chronicle. What was that side game we played?
Rising.
And I assume the real game, there is actually a magical class called Magical Girl, and it's wonderful.
Hey, if you want a whole episode on Iuden Chronicle Rising, check out our patreon.com/retroam.
Yeah, where we tell you what we thought about it. It was okay. It was
all right.
Fine. Whatever.
It's not bad. It's not fun.
General, please hold your fire. The government gave us a sample of the super fuel. Why would we want to steal it?
Is this the shit that I made? I don't know why I'm asking you that.
I don't know. Did you make a ziggurat
No, I didn't.
voice?
Ziggy's in it. Okay.
Playtime's over!